The business plan, etc. What's in there. I made it really, really clear. And I talked to a couple of agents I was coaching this morning and clarified it even further, that it's not the amount of money that is the goal, generally speaking. It's the things you can buy or do or have with the money that is your goal. Does that make sense to you guys out here? Diamond Bar? Say yes.
Yes.
All right, good job. See, they are really here. Can you push this or does that matter? Oh. Got it. Okay, so two questions I get asked all the time. Beginning of the year, middle of the year, end of the year, new agents coming in, etc. Is number one, how do I make $1 million a year? That also is converted into how do I sell 100 houses a year? Okay. How do I make $1 million a year, or how do I sell 100 houses a year? Both of those are great. And then the second question that comes right on the heels of that is how do I get rich and stay rich in real estate? Pass something on to my children and my family. I'm going to cover both of those today. The interesting thing is, both conversations are not very long. In fact, both conversations are boring. And that's the reason most people don't do it. It's not fun. It's not sexy. It's not cool because it's consistent repetition over time. It's boring. But remember, the tortoise and the hare story, the tortoise is steady Eddie, he's going every day, doing his job, et cetera, and running to the finish line. And the hare, the rabbit, is running circles and he's laughing at the tortoise, et cetera. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the tortoise, okay? I'm the tortoise in life, okay? Steady as she goes. Steady as she goes. I drive the same way to work. I get up and eat the same breakfast. Actually, I've had the same breakfast since March 20th of 2020, 98% of the time. Before that, I used to go to Starbucks and buy the same thing. Okay. I'd stop there and drive to work. Then when COVID came, I started fixing the same breakfast every morning. It's just, that's what I do. You can call it boring. You can call it whatever you like. But I'm here to tell you that in terms of what I've been able to accomplish in my life, from starting at a standing stop, my parents didn't have any money. I shared this yesterday. Family didn't have any money. I didn't go to college, barely got through high school. I think some of you know the story where I actually graduated high school with 18 Ds. You could get 20. I got 18. Okay, that's a fact. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where you start. Doesn't matter how you start. The matter is that you stay in the game and do that. So let's go to how to make $1 million a year in real estate. And pretty simple. So take out page 20. And I call this the path to earning $1 million a year. So the most top producers, most what I call legend agents, these are agents that do 100 deals a year and have done that for multiple years. Say they're either making $1 million a year or they're doing 100 deals a year on a regular basis. That's a legend agent to me. A superstar is somebody that does it occasionally, okay? And then an average agent is doing a deal now and then. All right, that's kind of the deal. And then very, very average agents are very frustrated. They really push for a year, and then the next year they flatten out. Okay, they don't understand the concept of momentum and those kinds of things. So most top producers work a database of past client and sphere. That's the gold. That's the platinum. the truth is that most real estate agents, since I started in the business almost 50 years ago, ignored or didn't really follow up much or didn't pay attention to their past client sphere. A lot of average agents, I hear that story constantly. And you have to stop that. You have to work. That's your gold mine. That's the vein of platinum that we want to work here. The database is people that you have in the base. They're people you know, people who know you, okay? You need their name, their phone number, their email address, and their cell phone number. You don't have those things, work on getting them. Having their address, their actual address is great because we're going to use all of that to mail things to them over time, email things to them over time, text things to them over time, call them over time. And you may want their home phone number, but the most valuable thing you could have from your client, two things: their email address and their cell phone number. The cell phone number, you can call them, you can text them, and the email address, you can use there. Okay, get that information. If you have their home address, great. It's a bonus because you're going to do some mailing to them. Okay, these are people that you've worked with. Statistics show us that if we work our databases by emailing weekly, now stop for a second. Don't worry about what's popping in your head. What am I going to email? And I don't like bothering people. Just put those aside right now. We're going to help you overcome both of those. We give out actually every week something to email, so you have something, or there's plenty of services that you can subscribe to and pay for that have things, but you don't need to do that. We supply that for you. So think about that, all right? But statistics show us if you email weekly, snail mail monthly, and I understand that can get a little expensive in the beginning, but merge into it. Snail mail monthly, email weekly, and call them every other month. Now, I added a new one to this. On the time that you're not calling them, text them. Now, I haven't done the math on it, but that is a ton of contacts that you're going to touch base with your past client and sphere. Now, that statistics have shown us that you do that at that level professionally, you're going to get 10% of your database doing business with you in the next 12 months, either indirectly or directly. Now, let's differentiate that, because this is where we find that there's an issue. In the direct, people you're talking to, they're going to do business with you. They're going to buy a house with you. They call you up. They say, I need to buy a house. I need to sell my house, etc. That's what we refer to as direct business. The business I believe most agents are missing is what I refer to as indirect business. That's the people that people know, okay? I want to tell you for a fact that there is 10% in that database. If you're really good at past client and sphere, and you have a really good relationship with people, you could get it to 15. I've seen that. But most people get it to about 4 or 5%. Those are most of the average agents, and even some of the great agents can't get it past 4 or 5%. But we put a campaign together where we're really, really, really working hard on getting business from the indirect clients, the aunts, the uncles, the sisters, the brothers, the people from work. That's where the extra business is going to come from. So we'll talk more about that in just a little bit. Okay, now, so it's 2023. We refer back to page 20 and 2023. I think, let's just start with 100 people. I think that every person that comes into real estate who's married probably, or maybe soon to be married, could probably come up with 100 people to invite to their wedding. Okay, probably. It would be friends, relatives, etc. Now, whether you want to invite 100 people to your wedding and pay for that, that's a different conversation. All right, but you have in your cell phone, in your mom or dad's information, you have 100 people. So let's write 100 down on the sphere of influence. And the concept is that you're going to, over the next 12 months, email them, snail mail them, and call them, text them. You get it? You're going to do that. Those 100 people are going to get those. And you should have 10% of those 100 people in deals. So that would be 10 transactions. So think about the deals you've done this year. Think about the size of your databases. And let's say if you have a database that's 200 people in there, and last year, because we're all doing our business plans and we know how much business we did and where it came from, and you look at your past client sphere base, and you have 4 or 5 people that came from your past client sphere base, and you have 200 people in your database, you should have 20 deals in your business plan for your past client sphere, but you only have 5. I want to tell you a truth that's going to bother some of you. There were 20 deals in that database. There were 20 people that bought or sold property directly or indirectly. They just didn't buy it from you. You've got to get that. That's going to get you to hopefully work harder on that database. Okay. So questions on that so far? Everybody got it? Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to build on that database every year. So write down, you want to add 8 people, 8 sphere and past client a month to this database. Now, this just makes for simple math for me. All right. If we add 8 people a month, okay, Neil, where am I going to get the 8 people? From prospecting, from door knocking, from open houses, from relationships, from some of the deals that you've done, you ask them for referral business. 8 people a month, not hard. You're not digging for it. You know, I think hard work is digging a ditch in the rain. What about you? You think so? Okay, that's hard work. We don't do that. The work we do is talking to people, following up on people. Not as hard, much more profitable. Okay. So I wrote down here, 8 people a month times 12 is how much? 96. So can we all agree that we can take that 96 and make it 100? Just for easy math. Okay. So next year, at the end of 24, I'm going to have the 100 I started with plus the 100 I added. So that's going to give me 200 at the end of 2024. Same thing. Email weekly, snail mail monthly, phone call them and text them, and you're going to end up with 10% of that business. So now at the end of 24, you're going to have 20 transactions. Kind of cool, right? Okay. Now, the average commission in our company right now is about $16,000 a deal. Gross, average. Some of you, your average is higher. Some of you, your average is lower. For the simplicity of math, I'm going to ask you to use $10,000. Okay, so at the end of 24, you should have $200,000 in gross income from that category. We're not talking about for sale by owners. We're not talking about expireds. We're not talking about open houses. I'm just talking about past client sphere. Got it? Okay, so next year, 25, I do the same thing. I work my area, I work my expireds, et cetera, et cetera. I add 8 people a month to this, and I end up with another 100, 25. So that's 200 plus 100. 2025 is 300. The next year I do the same thing. I add another 8 a month times 12, 96, round it up to 100. And 26 is 400. 27 is 500. 500 people. What am I doing weekly? Email. What am I doing monthly? Snail mail. What am I doing every other month? Texting. What am I doing on the odd month? Calling. I'm communicating at a really high level. As somebody who's an analytical could do all the math for me while we're doing this, and then email or text Jesse and let him know how many contacts that actually was in a year. Okay, I didn't do it before we started. 500 people. We at in 2027, we have 500 clients at $10,000 a deal. How much is that? Not hard math, $500,000. Grows $500,000. Do you guys see where I'm going here? You see what's happening? It's just doing your job every day, every week, every month, every day, every week, every month. This is where we get killed in real estate. Do your job daily, weekly. Don't have one week where you kill yourself and you make 100 contacts a day, and you can barely speak at the end of the week. And the next week, you need to take a week off because you can't talk. It's crazy. It's crazy. 150 contacts a week, talk to 150 to 200 contacts every single week. You're going to have a spectacular career. Follow up on those contacts, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody with me so far?
Yes.
All right. So let's fast forward this a little bit. And in 28, we had 100 people. That's 600. 29, 100 is 700. 30, 2030. Who's going to be here in 2030 besides me? Okay, 4 of you. Ooh, this is dangerous. All right, good job. So 2030, we have 800, 31, 900. 2032, we have 1,000 people in your database. I know agents that have 4,000 or 5,000. In fact, Lucy Ham, she's going to be at the event next week. She has 8,000 people in her database. All she and her assistant do all day long is talk to 20 people each and make $1.5 million a year. It's all she does in life now. Talk to her past client and sphere every day. That's it. And makes her a great living in Michigan and Flushing, Michigan. And Flushing, Michigan is not Detroit. It doesn't cost $1 million to buy a house in Flushing, Michigan. Maybe 300. Okay, 1,000. Okay, I have 1,000 people, and now I take that and I multiply that times $10,000 a deal, and that gives us how much? $1 million. $1 million. And this is all you have to do. Question. Some of you have been around me a while. How many times have I shared this? All the time. All the time. And some people are doing these numbers. How do you think Melinda and Mark and Al and Jennifer Matsumoto and get to $1 million a year and stay there? It's this. And everyone will tell you they don't work their database the way that they should. Every single one of them. Had a call with Robert Kofer this morning on this subject. How do I get more out of my database? Call him. Okay, give me a second idea. You get what I'm saying? Any questions on this so far? Any questions from the group? Robert, anybody in the chat box? Everybody's mad at me and they hung up. How many people, Jesse, are we at?
They're already calling their database.
78 people.
Got it. Thank you. Okay, no questions on that. Nope. Jesse, I need you to put up the
Excel sheet?
the
Slideshow?
slideshow, please. Now I got a problem because I don't have the script in front of me for the slideshow. How am I going to do this? All right. So draw a line in your paper, however you want to do this. And I'm going to go over a plan. Now, every month you're making more money. Okay. And I actually have a spreadsheet on how this works out, but I don't want to get too analytical on this. I just want you to understand the concept. This is all about the concept. Okay. So building wealth. How do I get rich investing in real estate? So Jesse, let's go to the second slide. All right, here's the thing. You have to work a system and you need to create a schedule and work the system. This is identical to what we've been talking about in your business planning. Okay, we need to start with the end in sight. We have to in mind, the end in mind. What do I want to accomplish here? The plan needs to be simple, not complicated, or you will not stay with it. Back to life. Number 3, Jesse, please. Okay, the plan requires discipline, consistency, and determination. Discipline, consistency, and determination. Well, that's what it takes for me to build a real estate business. Exactly. And that's what it takes for you to get rich in real estate. Discipline, consistency, and determination. The plan must include a great deal of stick-to-itness on your part. Write that down. Stick-to-itness. Okay, what does that mean? It means do your job. Next slide, Jesse, please. You have to determine how hard is it to stop you. How hard is it to stop you? When you get started on your project or your goal or your exercise or your business plan, how hard is it to stop you? What gets in the way? How easy is it to take you off track? How hard is it to stop you? How easy is it to get you off track? I would add probably one more. How hard is it for you to start? A lot of people, oh, that's a good idea. I'm going to do that. You know, I've always thought about that. That would be great, but you don't get started. Take action now, today. I'm going to challenge you later to take action on something today. Okay, something on this plan today. Mostly it takes skill of discipline and consistency. Most people won't do this because it's not sexy and it's not quick. It's not sexy and it's not a get rich quick scheme. Write that down. Okay. This is a lifetime commitment. And sometimes it doesn't work in that particular year, but the concept always works. There may be a year where you can't do this. That's true. But consistent, there were years. Look, my biggest regret, my wife and I talk about this all the time right now. Our biggest regret is that we didn't buy more real estate. We have cash, we have bonds, we have stocks, we have real estate. We own 2 beautiful homes in 2 beautiful cities. Most of our properties, et cetera, are paid for, et cetera. It's fabulous. And yet the one regret is we didn't buy more. Now, it's not that we could take $10 million and buy a bunch of property. It was along the way where we had the potential of having an extra $100,000 or $150,000 and saying, well, whoa, I want to hold on to this. I want this. I need this for me, for comfort. Okay, but the truth is I could have taken $75,000 one year and $75,000 another year and ended up with 1 more house. You guys get what I'm saying? Yes. And if I would have had 5 more houses, now that doesn't sound like a lot, but each house at about $400,000, 5 more houses is $2 million. $2 million in net equity, because most everything's paid off now. Number one. Number two, each of those properties are paying $2,000 a month. So 5 more properties is $10,000 a month. I would have had another $120,000 a year in 10 years, $1.2 million in cash more that would have been coming into my pocket. Do you get what I'm saying? And none of that would have hurt me, but I didn't do it. Okay, I did a decent amount, but I didn't do the decent plus 1 amount. That was the regret. That is the regret. Okay, so it's not sexy and it's not quick. You're not, when I tell people what I'm talking about, they look at me, whoa, man, if I can't make 50 grand in a year. I don't want to play. Okay, don't play. Don't play. And some of those people are in trouble, and some of those people hadn't got started, but the agents that do get started, that have a few properties along the way, the deal is you can't be selling this stuff. You can't be getting rid of it. You can't take the cash flow and spend it and go to Acapulco for the weekend. You've got to stay with paying off the project. Go to the next slide, please. When fully implemented, this could be worth millions of dollars in the next 15 to 18 years. They're 15 to 18 years. I don't want this in 15 to 18 years. I want to retire in 5 years. Well, okay, go ahead and work. Give me another plan that works better than this, and we'll look at it. The investments should be throwing off thousands of dollars a month in passive income. Here's the plan. Buy one rental property in the next few months. If it can't be in the next few months, make sure it's in the next year or 2 or 3, but get going. And if it takes a year or 2 or 3, so be it, but get going. Okay, get going. Buy one rental property in the next few months. Put 20 to 25% down. Okay, this is not about leverage. Okay, I don't want you to lose the property when and if the market shifts. So put 25% down on the property. Rent the property out. The rental income should take care of the mortgage, taxes, and insurance. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay, the house to invest in should be bought at fair market value. You can steal it if you can, but it's not critical. What's critical? Get started. I'll show you why in a minute. Okay, the house. We'll go back. The house needs to be in good condition, decent condition, and it needs to be in a decent neighborhood. Okay, that's it. That's the deal. If you have to go collect the rents, and I choose to have property management, but if you have to go collect the rents, you want to be able to go collect the rents and not be worried for your life or your car or something like that. Okay, next one, please. So let's talk about this for a second. How old would you be on your next birthday? So I wrote down here, the average in the company is probably around 40. Some people are 50. Some people are 60. Some people are 70. Okay. But it doesn't really matter when you start. So I'm just going to use a 40-year-old. Now let's look 15 years out. You'll be 55 years old. On your 55th birthday, the house you bought pays off. Let's say you paid $400,000 for the house. Guys with me?
Yes.
So you're going to take a 30-year loan, but you're going to work to pay the house off in 15 years. Okay, go to the next slide, please. And let's assume a 0 appreciation on this. This is really important. Okay, I've never considered appreciation in the buy. Do I think properties are going to go up in value? Yes. Have they traditionally gone up in value? Yes. Some more in certain years than others. Okay, but they tend over a 15-20 year period to go up in value, but I'm not counting that in the conversation. All right, you're moving too fast. Okay, so you're on your 55th birthday, you have a $400,000 true equity, because we're not counting any appreciation. What you paid for the house 15 years ago is still worth what you paid for it 15 years later. The $2,500 a month that was going to the bank to pay down the mortgage now comes to you as passive income. Down payment was $100,000. You have a $300,000 mortgage. That's your profit. The $300,000 mortgage that the tenant paid off is your profit. Get it? Tenant pays it off 15 years. Now let's go to the Excel spreadsheet, the one with the numbers. Awesome. Change the 250. So this is a spreadsheet on how to get rich and what's happening. Change the 250 to 400. Oh, Neil, there's no $400,000 houses within 30 to 50 miles of Diamond Bar. Who the heck are you kidding? Right? Right? Who the heck are you kidding? So I always anticipate that. You want to anticipate the objections in your presentations. And I asked Robert to run what was going on. So 450-mile radius, diamond bar, 400,000 and below. Okay. 1,200. 1,200 properties right now that are listed as of an hour ago. They're listed for sale. Now, so somebody had asked me earlier, they said, well, what if they're not in good condition? Don't consider them. You're going to have to look at a lot of property, but there's 1,200 possibilities. Do you think you could find one in 1,200 possibilities for you to invest in? Yes or no? Yes. Absolutely. Do you think you could talk to your buyers and sellers and talk to them about this program and have them get started on a program? 1,200 possibilities here. Huh. Wow. Maybe I could buy one for myself and sell 10 to others and take the money I made on the 10 and go buy another piece of property for myself. Wouldn't that be nice? Get where I'm going? Okay. So I'm going to the down payment, change the down payment to 25%. Okay, 2.5. Let's see how this works. 7% interest, 1.2%, rent $2,200. Make the rent $2,200. You know what? Go back up on the 7%. No, on the 25%. Make that 30. Make that what? Make that 30%. Yeah, thank you. Go down to property taxes are 1.2. No homeowners association. It's not a condo. 2,200. 3%. Insurance, make that about 750. I was working this for somebody else. What's the interest on non-owner occupied right now? Do we have a lender online? I think it's less than 7%.
6.5.
Anybody know? Nobody?
6.5, Neil.
How much?
6.5.
6. Okay, so change that interest rate to 6.5, Jesse, please. $6.50. Okay. So this particular scenario would create a little bit of a negative cash flow. So you see it would be $36 a month in the first year. So I say no negative cash flow, so I can't pay that much for the property. So Jesse, change the price to $385, please. See what happens to the cash flow by lowering the original price by $15,000. I now have a $46 a month cash flow. Now that cash flow is going to raise up 3% a year over the life of the loan. Okay, so every year the rent's going to go up, all right, a little bit, and you're going to be able to pay the house off. Now, here's the deal. Look at this number here. The mortgage pays off in 18 years, 7 months on that formula. Okay, 18. So it's not 15 years. It's going to take 18 years, but you're going to get a $14,000 a year or a 13% return on your investment. 13% return on your $100,000 investment. Now, can anybody get 13% on any money in the bank right now? No, maybe 3%, maybe. See what's going on here? So if you were able to get the rent up, instead of 2,200, it was 20, 300. Change that, please. 146. You guys see what happens? Look what happened. I paid off the house 1 year early. See, it was 18 years. It's now 17 years. Okay, questions on that? You guys are looking at me like I'm on drugs. Questions?
Neil, you use this without even calculating
Okay, now
appreciation.
that's my first house. I'm going to do this every single year. Now we can do this in real estate because you're working the program where you're adding every year because you're working your past client sphere base. Remember this? We're working this program. So the second year you buy another house. All right. So now, no, you don't change anything. Let's take that off the screen and go back to the slides. At age 40, buy one house, pays off at 55, house is worth 400,000, cash flow. Second, go to the next screen. Okay, we're 45, it's 5 years later. Let's say we didn't buy a house every year. We bought a house every 5 years. Okay, then we're 60 years old. We had another house worth 400,000. We have 5,000 a month coming in. Next slide. Okay, I'm 50 years old. Okay, let's stop. Some of you are too young to see you're going to be 50 years old. Okay, some of us are past 50 years old. We'd like to get back to 50. Okay, here's the deal. This is that big learn for me. When I was in my 30s, I could not see my 50s. Okay, but I hit upon this thing. I'm either going to be 50 or I'm going to be dead. That sounds terrible, but it was a reality. That's what got me investing at that time and thinking about retirement. Okay, now most of you know I'm not retiring. I'm just, my wife is, she's fine with the fact that I get up in the morning and I go, where are you going today? Diamond Bar. Okay, bye. Okay, so you understand where we're going. You're going to be 50 or you're going to be dead. You have to do it. If you're not started, start now. Just get going. Okay. So I don't know, is there one more slide? Okay, I'm 60 years old. The house pays off when I'm 75 years old. And now I have, next slide. I have $1.6 million in true net equity, starting at 40, going to 75, and $10,000 a month coming in as passive income. Pretty cool, huh? Now, don't be down on yourself if you haven't started yet. The key is to get started.
Ron has a question.
Sure. Try Ron.
Yeah, I didn't know if you could hear me or not, but when you were asking for questions, when you started the plan, it was on the other screen. You calculated that without even adding in the appreciation of the house. You said don't add the appreciation.
That is correct. Kind of cool, huh?
Yes. That's it. Thank you.
Okay. So what do you think that $1.6 million would be worth in with appreciation? Double? I don't know. But a lot. Guaranteed a lot. All right. Okay. So now that's 4 years. Or excuse me, that's 20 years. Questions on that? I think we're pretty done. I did the 5 years because I thought that was a little bit more reasonable. But think about this. If you did one a year and you did that for 15 years, you'd own 15 houses. And at 55 years old, your first one would pay off. Okay. You'd have $400,000 worth of true equity and $2,500 a month coming in as passive income. So let's say we fast forward that for 10 years. We bought a house a year. We every year thereafter from 55 on, it paid off. So by 55, 65, so 70 years old, by my 70th birthday, I'd have 10 houses paid off. 10 properties paid off. And those 10 properties would be worth true equity, $400,000 each. That's $4 million plus $2,500 a month coming in. So we'd have $25,000 a month coming in, $4 million worth of true equity. And you know what the best part is? You still own 5 houses that haven't paid off yet. So you need to start. That makes sense? Other questions?
Neil, I came in late. I may have missed it. How are you accelerating the payoffs? Like,
Okay,
the
you
first
can
one you were showing-
take this to your clients. You can take this to your family. Occasionally I do a class on Zoom for people. If they want to get together a group, and I'll demonstrate this. I've done this for accountants. I've done this for lawyers. I've done this for CPAs and probate guys, etc. My wife, being an attorney, tells me I cannot say this is foolproof. I can't say it. But I got to tell you something. This is as close to foolproof in investing as anything ever. You're very conservative. You're not putting it, don't put your last $100,000 into a deal. You know, don't try to time the market or steal something. Okay. Best example I have on that issue is the Covina office that we worked out of yesterday. I bought that building with my wife in 2006 or 7. And we put about 35% down. We financed the rest of it. I bought the building specifically that if anything happened in the economy, we'd have a fallback position. That was the idea. Okay. So what happened in 2007 and 8? Market was doing this, and 2007, 8, what happened in the market? Right? 2008 is when the market almost disintegrated. Okay. I didn't have to sell because I had put a good down payment down and I was running the business. Now, it was difficult, wasn't easy, but we were able to continue to make the payments, et cetera, et cetera. Fast forward. All right. Still own the building. But the building's paid for now because every month I kept making a payment. Okay. Kept making a payment. So this is actually almost 3 years now. The building's been paid for. Okay. Now, do you think it's worth more or less than I paid for it when the market fell in 2008?
A lot more.
Get it? Yeah, the market went here and then went back here. And because I'm conservative, we were able to hold on and we have that kind of an asset. Get started. I wrote down here, most agents, well, hold on. I wrote down here, what's the difference between you and other agents? Let's go back to making money here. What's the difference between you and other agents? What is the client buying? They're buying energy. They get the same sign. They get the same multiple listing service. They get the same scripts in some cases. Some of you use scripts, okay? Some of you sound better than others. You're prepared for the objection handlers. But the truth is there's very little difference between you and the other agents, between companies and other companies. The difference is energy. Energy and enthusiasm. You better have some on your presentations. So how's the client going to know the difference? They're going to know the difference between your enthusiasm and your energy. They're also going to understand that failure is not hitting your goals. This is the point I really want to get across to all of you. Failure is not hitting your goals. I put a goal down last year, Neil, and I wanted to do 30 deals, and I only did 12, and I feel like a failure. No, you're not a failure if you did the activities. There's the key. If you don't do the activities that you need to do to accomplish your goals on a daily basis, there's no shame in not hitting your goal. The shame is not doing the work to accomplish your goals. And for that, I believe there is no excuse. I wrote down here, today matters. How you spend the next 24 hours will speak volumes about how your future will evolve. Will you get up early? Will you work out to help have energy for the day? Will you have discipline to role play, and at what level? Will you start prospecting on time? Will you finish on time? Will you call the people you're supposed to call and call them with intensity and set an appointment today? Don't stop until you set an appointment today. Will you take time to study your scripts and dialogues today? Will you take time to preview property today? Will you spend time listening to tapes and reading books and help your mindset today? Will you complete your business plan today? Or you be like all the other average agents and let other stuff get in the way of your dreams and your goals? Ladies and gentlemen, what you do in the next 24 hours, how you spend them, what changes you'll make, what actions you will take to move your career forward will be the difference between you hitting your goals, achieving the things that you want for yourself and your family, and not. Good luck. Have a great afternoon. And if I can answer any other questions, let
Can
me
I
know.
ask a question, Neil?
Thank you.
Neil, can I ask a question? So I was wondering, basically, an expressive like me, I know one of the issues I have is consistency. As you said, I get bored, so and I don't have my result fast, so I want to move on. What would you advise somebody like me to keep consistent?
Stop using that as an excuse not to do your job.
Okay.
I'm being nice. Okay, I don't mean to be mean.
No, please be mean.
Many years ago, some of you knew me at the time. I would use something, I would kind of put myself down, and somebody would say to me, God, you did a great job, or that's really wonderful, or thanks for that information. My answer was not bad from a poor little Jewish boy from Pico Rivera. Okay, I would say that all the time. And I woke up one morning and I said, wow, what a negative self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm not poor. The only thing was a fact. I was from Pico Rivera and I was Jewish, but everything else didn't matter. And I stopped saying it. Stop saying it, Matam.
Okay.
I see you as a strong, competent, capable woman who can get anything done that she wants and needs to get done. That's who I see. All right. Be that person. Actually, what I would say to you is be the person that people think you are. Because I think people see you that way. Does that help a little bit?
Yes, great, thank you.
You're welcome. Other questions? All right, well, if you have other questions or things, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We are available. This works. Robert can email you the list. He emailed it to me. There's 1,200 possibilities here where you could go buy something. Abigail, this is a list right for you. Go get it.
I
And
will,
if you
boss.
can't find anything in California, Plenty in Montreal for 400,000.
What can you get in Montreal for 400?
You can get a duplex actually. So you have 2 apartments, not just one.
What's the rent?
You guys,
The
this
rental,
works.
it can generate easily good $3,000 a month for you.
Okay, and what are the costs? Because I know that taxes, property taxes and some other things are a little different. But
1% of property taxes.
I'm just trying to figure the calculations. That sounds like a great investment.
There's a great investment opportunities here in Montreal, and we have a lot of people from other provinces that it's too expensive. They come and invest here.
All right, there you go.
So send your clients, it's a great opportunity. Happy to help them.
There you go. Thank you, Matab. All right, other questions, other thoughts?
Neil, I just wanted to say one thing since you called me. It actually works. I'm 33 years old. I have now 7 properties. And when I started with Neil, when I switched offices, I only had 1 small studio. My studio is, I believe it was 300 square feet, 350 square, under 350 square feet.
Right. You know, Abigail and her husband have been buying into this since the very first time she heard this 6, 7 years ago, Abigail? 5 years?
Yes. Yes. I want to say about 7 years ago.
Okay. Yeah, and actually you started on the program slowly and you've actually just started to speed it up. So it's not like you bought, 3 or 4 properties the first year. It's the other way around. You moved up a little bit, and then started to accelerate. As you make more money, as your husband makes more money, you guys are plowing it into real estate. Oh, what a great thing.
That is correct. With your help, this year we closed on 3 escrows.
Good
So
for
3
you.
purchases.
3 purchases. Good for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job. Okay. I have to pay her the $10. All right, anyone else? Here's a question for you guys. Why wouldn't, let's just talk about the how to make $1 million a year. Why wouldn't you do that? I laid it out. Why? You must think it doesn't work at some level. No? Why wouldn't you do it? Why wouldn't you just do that? And I know some of you are tackling it now. Okay. Any ideas?
I think for most people, I can speak for myself before I did it, because the past last year and the year before, I made $500,000. 75% of it came from really database. And before that, for me, was I haven't spoken to a lot of them in 10 years or 16 years, and oh my God, what I'm going to say to them. And the minute I overcame that, just shut it off, and I said, just make the call. And I was so surprised to find that they were so happy to hear from me. And oh my God, we were just looking for your number. We couldn't find your number. We were going to pass the office. I think we want to sell and downsize. So it was like, what? And if they would have gone to the office, I changed offices, I would have lost on those deals. And it clicked immediately how many of them, when I made the call also, it was like, oh my God, it's so good to hear from you. But, we just bought a few months ago because we couldn't find your number. Exactly. So when you do the math on what I lost for not making that phone call, it kind of switched it completely for me. As I said, 75% of my business came last year and the year before from database, and all of a sudden I jumped from making 300,000 to $500,000.
Good job. That's fantastic. But think about all the money we lost
I know. That was the first exercise my coach, it's like cutting commission. When she made me write down over 6 years how much money I lost cutting commission. And I don't forget the number ever, 187,596. I would never forget that number. So now when somebody tells me, would you cut your commission? I just cringe and I just go, I'm sorry. What?
Good job. Okay, any other questions? I'm gonna turn it back over and we're gonna still, we have prospecting to do today.
Yes, we do. Thanks.
All right, everybody. Thank you.